What if the very fabric of your reality, the solid ground beneath your feet, is nothing more than a meticulously crafted illusion? What if the universe whispers secrets, ancient truths echoing through time, yet we are deafened by the clamor of a manufactured consensus? For eons, humanity has sought answers to life's most profound questions, often turning to external authorities, to dogma, to narratives woven by hands that sought control, not liberation. But there exists a deeper current, an undercurrent of ancestral wisdom, a legacy passed down through veiled whispers of forgotten lineages, within the hidden mysteries of existence itself. Tonight, we dare to pull back the curtain on knowledge, so potent, so transformative, that its very presence was deemed too dangerous for the masses. We speak of a path to profound spiritual enlightenment, a true awakening, a journey into the very heart of inner alchemy, where the mundane transmutes into the miraculous, where consciousness shapes reality. This is not mere speculation. It is an investigation into the very nature of creation, into the undeniable power residing within each of us to control energy and transform reality. We will explore the echoes of a truth meticulously guarded, often dismissed as myth or heresy, yet recorded in what some dare to call forbidden texts, ancient scrolls that reveal how to harness the cosmic energy that animates all things. Imagine, for a moment, that you are not merely a passenger in this grand cosmic play, but the very playwright, the director, the lead actor, capable of bending the very threads of fate with intention and awareness. This isn't abstract philosophy. It is a practical guide, an invitation to reclaim your birthright as a co-creator of your world. Are you ready to question everything you thought you knew? Are you prepared to embrace a vision of reality so liberating, so empowering, that it renders fear and limitation obsolete? This journey into the hidden mysteries and ancestral wisdom promises a profound spiritual enlightenment through the practice of inner alchemy. Before we delve into the intricate tapestry of these revelations, into the very first threads of the hidden knowledge that will begin to unveil the existence of this secret power to control energy and transform reality, I invite you to open your mind and heart. If this resonates with the deepest part of your seeking soul, please take a moment to like this video, share your initial thoughts and burning questions in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement fuels our collective journey towards illumination. For in the shadows of the unseen awaits a truth that promises to redefine your entire existence. A truth revealed in the forbidden texts and powered by cosmic energy. If your soul resonates with the idea of being more than a mere observer, if the flame of curiosity has lit a fire within you, then we are ready to take the next step. The journey ahead is not about acquiring new beliefs, but about uncovering those that already reside within you. We are speaking of an ancient wisdom that is not lost, but veiled, waiting to be rediscovered within each of us. Forbidden texts are not mere dusty parchments. They are mirrors, reflections of your own latent power. Think of reality as a web of cosmic energy, vibrating at countless frequencies. Everything you perceive, everything you experience, is a manifestation of this energy. The great revelation, the core of hidden mysteries, lies in understanding that your consciousness is not a passive product of this web, but rather an active agent, a focal point of creation. The ability to control this energy, and consequently, transform your reality, begins with mastering your own vibrational frequency, with the purification and elevation of your own essence. This is the essence of inner alchemy, transmuting the lead of ignorance into the gold of spiritual enlightenment. The ancient masters, holders of this ancient wisdom, understood that the universe mirrors the inner self. The macrocosm reflects the microcosm. The key to unlocking the secrets of cosmic energy and manifestation lies not in complex external rituals, but in internal calibration, in the fine-tuning of your most powerful instrument, your own consciousness. The forbidden texts do not detail spells or incantations in the popular sense, but rather exercises in focus, intention, and alignment with the universal laws that govern vibration and resonance. They teach that every thought, every emotion, every word you utter is a wave, a frequency that propagates through the web of cosmic energy, shaping your reality in real time, understanding that you are a constant transmitter and receiver of cosmic energy is the first portal. It is the starting point for the spiritual enlightenment that precedes the mastery of inner alchemy. Many have sought this power externally in complex artifacts or rituals, without realizing that the true laboratory, the true furnace of transmutation, resides in the sanctuary of one's own being. Hidden mysteries are not guarded by dragons in dark caves, but by one's own resistance to looking within, to confronting the shadows that obscure one's true nature. Forbidden texts, or rather texts restricted to the few who dare to question the status quo, guide us to understand the vibrational nature of thought. They invite us to perceive the intrinsic connection between the mind, the heart, and the quantum field. Ancient wisdom echoes through the millennia, whispering that reality is malleable, not fixed, that the power to transform it is not a gift for a select few, but an inherent capacity of every living, breathing being. Where once separation was seen, spiritual enlightenment reveals unity. Where once scarcity was perceived, inner alchemy unveils abundance. But how do we translate this profound understanding into tangible action? How do we calibrate this inner tool so that cosmic energy responds to its command, shaping reality in alignment with our purest intention? This is the question that brings us to the threshold of the next step on this staircase of revelations. For before manipulating external currents, we must master the internal tides. And to do so, the journey invites us to explore the true architecture of our mind and how it connects to the vast tapestry of existence. The true architecture of the mind, my dear seeker, is no less complex than the tapestry of the universe we observe out there. Think of it as an inner cosmos, a holographic mirror where every galaxy, every star, and every void has its correspondence. Ancient wisdom has always warned us that know thyself was not a mere moral exhortation, but an invitation to map a vast and largely unexplored territory. Hidden mysteries reside not only in forgotten crypts or beneath ancient pyramids, but in the depths of your own psyche. There is a layer of consciousness that is the fertile soil of your manifest reality, and an even deeper layer where collective memories and universal archetypes rest. It is there, in this primordial ocean, that inner alchemy truly begins, transmuting not metals, but thought patterns, limiting beliefs, and the very seeds of karma. The forbidden texts, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, are the navigation manuals for these inner domains. They do not prohibit access, but reveal the implicit responsibility in the manipulation of such forces. Spiritual enlightenment is not a single event, but an ongoing process of unveiling these layers, an ascension through the multiple heavens or a descent into the hells of your own mental creation. Every thought, every emotion is a wave of cosmic energy that you emit and that returns, resonating with the quantum field of existence. Mastery of the mind, therefore, is mastery of life itself. It is understanding that the cosmic energy, which permeates everything, can be directed by the clarity and purity of your intention, manifested from this inner sanctuary. But how do we access these deeper levels? How do we decipher the hieroglyphics of our own unconscious? Ancient wisdom teaches that the gateway is not external, but internal, accessed through altered states of consciousness, deep meditation, and the practice of radical introspection. It is a courageous dive into the darkness to find the light, into the hidden mysteries of our own shadow, to unearth the gold of self-awareness. The forbidden texts reveal techniques, not for coercively controlling the external world, but for refining the inner instrument that perceives and constructs it. Inner alchemy, in this context, is the art of harmonizing the polarities within oneself, light and shadow, masculine and feminine, reason and intuition, so that cosmic energy flows unimpeded, creating a reality that reflects one's highest vibration. Spiritual enlightenment, at its core, is the realization of unity between the microcosm and the macrocosm, the understanding that one's mind is a fractal of the universe. But to truly pilot this complex vessel that is the human mind, one must go beyond theory. One must feel, experience, and delve into the energetic currents that move beneath the surface of consciousness. And this brings us to the next phase of this journey, the question of how time and space themselves bend and manifest from the web of our inner perception, and how ancient wisdom has mapped these distortions, providing keys to transcending the apparent limitations of reality. The perception of time and space, my dear seeker, is not a universal constant, but a malleable flux shaped by the lens of our consciousness. Think about it. In moments of ecstasy or profound dread, doesn't time stretch or contract? A second of spiritual enlightenment can be worth an eternity, while years of boredom seem to evaporate in the blink of an eye. Ancient wisdom did not view time as a straight, inexorable line, but as a spiral, an eternal cycle where past, present, and future coexist in an expanded now. The hidden mysteries lie in the understanding that we are, in essence, navigators of this spiral, capable of accessing different points by shifting our internal frequency. The forbidden texts, beyond mere compendiums of rituals, are star maps for the mind, revealing how inner alchemy is the key to transfiguring space-time perception. It's not about physically moving to another place or time, but about attuning consciousness to the vibrational realities that already exist. Cosmic energy, this invisible tapestry that unites everything, is the medium through which this attunement becomes possible. Imagine reality as a vast orchestra, and each note, each melody, is a dimension, a moment. Spiritual enlightenment allows you not only to listen to, but to conduct this orchestra. Ancient civilizations, possessors of profound ancestral wisdom, built temples and monuments aligned not only with the heavens, but also with telluric currents and convergence points of cosmic energy. These sites were not just astronomical observatories, but accelerators of consciousness, designed to facilitate the experience of non-linear realities. They knew that the structure of the universe was not Cartesian, but fractal and holographic, and that the here and the now are merely focal points within a field of infinite possibilities. The hidden mysteries of these constructions still echo, awaiting receptive minds to decipher their secrets. They taught that illness and health, abundance and scarcity, are not mere random events, but energetic resonances manifested through our distorted or aligned perception. Inner alchemy, in this context, is the art of recalibrating this resonance. The forbidden texts describe exercises of visualization, breathing, and intention that, rather than shaping the exterior, alter the internal vibrational matrix, allowing the individual to leap to more desirable realities. It is not magic in the childish sense, but the science of consciousness. Spiritual enlightenment, therefore, is not merely a state of inner peace, but a mastery over the laws of manifested creation, a living understanding that time and space are but veils. But if we are the architects of our own space-time reality, and if ancient wisdom has bequeathed us the tools for such mastery through inner alchemy and the understanding of cosmic energy, what then is the true nature of the challenge? If hidden mysteries are revealed and forbidden texts are deciphered, what prevents us from instantly manifesting everything we desire? What lies behind the veil of inertia and resistance? And how has ancient wisdom addressed the very essence of free will versus predetermined destiny? A conundrum that defies the deepest spiritual enlightenment in the application of inner alchemy? The question that naturally arises, my dear seeker, is what truly imprisons us if the power of creation resides within us. Ancient wisdom did not ignore this apparent contradiction. On the contrary, it embraced it as the core of an even deeper mystery. The forbidden texts spoke not only of manifestation, but also of detachment, of a form of inner alchemy that transcends mere material desire. They suggest that inertia and resistance are not flaws in the mechanism of cosmic energy, but rather reflections of a programming, of a collective dream in which we are immersed. Imagine that spiritual enlightenment is not just the ability to shape matter, but the ability to discern the origin of the mold. Free will, then, would not be the freedom to choose between two predefined options, but the ability to redefine one's own field of possibilities. Ancient wisdom warns us that much of what we perceive as fate is actually an echo of ancient energetic patterns, of beliefs embedded deep within our psyche and the collective unconscious. Hidden mysteries lie not in the absence of information, but in our inability to see through the veil of self-imposed illusion, fueled by centuries of conditioning. Inner alchemy, at this level, rises from a tool of manifestation to a key to liberation. It's not just about attracting what you want, but about dismantling the internal structures that prevent us from being the pure cosmic energy we truly are. The forbidden texts narrate rituals not of evoking entities, but of evoking the primordial self, of deprogramming what has been imposed. Spiritual enlightenment, here, is the awakening of consciousness to the fact that inertia is not an external blockage, but a tangle of dissonant vibrational frequencies within ourselves, fueled by the denial of our own divine nature. They spoke of a great dream, of a matrix of shared reality, where the collective manifestations of cosmic energy create the great currents of destiny that seem to carry humanity. However, ancient wisdom taught that, even within this collective dream, the individual endowed with true inner alchemy can awaken and transcend its apparent laws. The hidden mysteries reveal that freedom lies not in controlling external events, but in controlling one's own vibrational response to those events, in rewriting the internal script. This requires a spiritual enlightenment that goes beyond mere intellectual knowledge, entering the realm of experience. But if we are capable of redefining our field of possibilities, if we can transcend the big dream through inner alchemy and understanding cosmic energy, what role does the shadow play? What happens when the mirror of manifestation reflects not what we consciously desire, but our deepest fears and limiting beliefs? Those fragments of the psyche that forbidden texts call etheric residue, echoes of past lives or unconscious pacts that still resonate in our energetic structure? What is the true face of the guardian of the threshold that prevents the full expression of our ancestral wisdom? The shadow is not merely an absence of light, but a vibrational density, a compendium of dissonances that the ego, in its attempt to preserve a false sense of security, has buried deep within the being. These etheric residues, as the forbidden texts describe them, are fragments of the soul that have dissociated themselves from the central light, carrying with them primordial fears, ancestral shamans, and even unconscious pacts sealed in ancient times whose energetic signatures still resonate in the tapestry of our present. Ancient wisdom warns, to ignore these echoes is to build a mansion on shifting sands. True inner alchemy consists not merely in transmuting lead into gold on the surface, but in unearthing these heavy metals of the psyche, confronting their darkest. Nature, the guardian of the threshold, is not an external figure to be overcome, but the clearest reflection of our own internalized fears, the spectral manifestation of the beliefs we deny within ourselves. He is the ultimate test of our spiritual enlightenment. His form alters, mirroring the deepest insecurities, the most abysmal doubts whispered from the abyss of forgotten memories. This is where the true work of hidden mysteries begins, not in seeking external revelations, but in deciphering the inner crypts. When cosmic energy flows, it encounters these internal barriers. If our vibrational field is saturated with memories of pain, rejection, and insufficiency, perhaps echoes of the hidden mysteries of our own lineage, or impressions of collective suffering, then the mirror of manifestation, according to the principle of correspondence, will replicate this saturation. This is why many seek the light, but stumble upon the very shadow they project. The Forbidden Texts not only detail the nature of these residues, but also offer keys to their dissolution, to the reintegration of these lost parts of the self. They speak of a sacred dance between light and shadow, where the latter is not an enemy, but a necessary component of wholeness, a raw material for transformation. This confrontation is not a battle, but a recognition. It is the full acceptance that everything within, both the light and the apparent darkness, is part of the whole. True spiritual enlightenment only emerges when we accept the shadow as a master in disguise, a bearer of messages essential to our evolution. The guardian of the threshold demands that we stop running from ourselves, that we delve into the hidden mysteries of our own psyche. It forces us into a deeper inner alchemy, one that transcends mere intention and demands the courage to be vulnerable, to embrace the very aspects we wish to exile. For only when these fragments are brought back into the fold can the full potential of our cosmic energy be unleashed, weaving a new reality. But what happens when this acceptance occurs, when the guardian steps aside, not in defeat, but in recognition? What new landscape unfolds beyond the threshold, when ancient wisdom guides us through this valley of echoes and shadows? Is there a void, or just another veil, another layer of the great dream awaiting its awakening? And what happens to cosmic energy when it no longer encounters resistance, but a conduit fully aligned with its original intention? When the guardian steps aside, there is not a void, but the revelation that the veil was, in fact, a projection of the observer himself. The new landscape that unfolds is not a physical place, but a state of consciousness, a vibratory field where reality is shaped by the purity of intention and the coherence of frequency. Cosmic energy, which previously encountered barriers and dissonances in the fragmentations of being, now flows unimpeded, like a mighty river rediscovering its original bed. This is true inner alchemy, transmuting not lead into gold, but confusion into clarity, dissonance into harmony. Ancient wisdom has always whispered of this moment, of the possibility of the individual transcending the bonds of the ego to become a conscious co-creator. The ancient masters, whose teachings are veiled in symbols and parables, and sometimes in forbidden texts, understood that reality is not static, but a continuous flow of energy shaped by collective and individual consciousness. They knew that spiritual enlightenment is not a final state, but an ongoing process of refinement, where each veil lifted reveals a deeper layer of the hidden mysteries of the universe and the self. What manifests then is not a new reality out there, but a radical reinterpretation of the in-here that inevitably reflects itself in the apparent world. Cosmic energy, once aligned, does not do things in the conventional sense, but is the creative force itself. You become the conduit for this current, and your personal frequency becomes the tuning fork that tunes the orchestra of existence. Around you, hidden mysteries that seemed insurmountable begin to unfold, not because you discovered them, but because your own vibration has risen to attune with the dimension where these truths reside. This attunement is the essence of inner alchemy, a constant process of calibration. Ancient wisdom reminds us that every thought, every emotion, every word is a vibration that contributes to the tapestry of our experience. And when this tapestry is woven with pure cosmic energy, free from the distortions of fear and doubt, what emerges is a manifestation of divine purpose. Spiritual enlightenment, therefore, is not about seeing the light, but about becoming the light, a frequency resonant with the beating heart of the universe. But this capacity for co-creation, this Mastery of one's own vibrational frequency brings with it an immense responsibility. If reality is so malleable to our intention aligned with cosmic energy, what about the distortions that still persist within the collective? How does ancient wisdom suggest we navigate the murky currents of mass consciousness, even when our own inner alchemy elevates us above them? And what is the next portal to be unveiled when manifestation becomes a tangible truth and not just a concept from forbidden texts? This is the crossroads, isn't it? Where the wave of our individual inner alchemy meets the vast ocean of collective consciousness. If manifestation becomes palpable, a vibratory echo of our intention aligned with cosmic energy, then the most challenging question arises. What about the veil of illusion that still covers much of humanity? How does ancient wisdom, so often veiled in hidden mysteries and forbidden texts, guide us to navigate this duality? It's no longer about creating your own reality in isolation, but about understanding how your frequency, once refined by spiritual enlightenment, interacts with the morphogenetic field of all that is. Think of it as harmonic resonance. A pure note can reverberate and eventually tune others that are out of tune. The cosmic energy that pulsates through each of us recognizes no boundaries between self and other in its deepest essence. Separation is one of the most persistent illusions, one of the hidden mysteries that tangible manifestation itself begins to unveil. The ancient masters, whose truths ancestral wisdom preserved in fragments and symbols, knew that true inner alchemy was not just the transmutation of lead into gold within oneself, but the transmutation of the collective field of lead into gold. They understood that one person's illness is not isolated, that one person's scarcity is an echo of the collective. Belief in limitation. The forbidden texts contain not only rituals for individual ascension, but keys to unlocking the shackles of shared ignorance, to reorienting the very cosmic energy that sustains common reality. Spiritual enlightenment, in this expanded context, is not a refuge from the world, but a tool for reimagining the world. It is the ability to see through the distortions of the collective mind, the fears, projections, prejudices, and inject a new frequency, a new possibility. Your inner alchemy becomes a beacon, not to repel, but to attract and elevate. But how? Do you do this without being absorbed by the tides of collective unconsciousness? This is the delicate dance. Ancient wisdom warns us against the temptation to fight the shadow, rather than simply project more light. Hidden mysteries reveal that truth is not imposed, but remembered. The next portal, then, is not just about enhancing your own manifestation capacity, but about understanding the intricate web of collective co-creation. If cosmic energy is the fabric, and our intention is the needle, what is the pattern we are sewing together? How can we consciously weave a new tapestry for shared reality, a collective dream more aligned with abundance and harmony? And what are the forbidden texts that hold the keys to unlocking the archetypal patterns that govern collective narratives, the underlying programs that keep humanity trapped in repetitive cycles? True mastery lies not only in shaping one's own clay, but in becoming a co-sculptor of humanity's garden, discerning the deep roots of the beliefs that still bind us. This is the challenge that now presents itself, to transcend individuality without losing its essence, and thus navigate the hidden mysteries of collective consciousness. What if the answer to this transcendence lies not in more knowledge, but in a different kind of perception? A perception that allows us to see not only what is, but what can be, in unison with the vast cosmic energy. The perception I seek to describe is not one confined to the five senses, nor even to the linear logic of the rational mind. It is a vision that emerges from silence, an internal reverberation that deciphers the codes of the universe before they even fully manifest. Ancient wisdom, whispered through the millennia, speaks of a third eye, not as a physical organ, but as a center of consciousness that accesses the underlying fabric of reality. It is through this lens that hidden mysteries are revealed, not as guarded secrets, but as truths that have always been in plain sight, veiled only by the density of our own conditioned perception. Imagine for a moment that the reality you experience is just a fraction of a much larger spectrum. What if true spiritual enlightenment were not the accumulation of new garments, but the shedding of the layers that prevent you from seeing what you already are? Inner alchemy, in this context, becomes the transmutation not of lead into gold, but of fragmented perception into unified consciousness. It is the process of attuning to the vast cosmic energy that permeates everything, an invisible symphony that orchestrates events, ideas, and emotions. Forbidden's texts, those that have been suppressed or misinterpreted over the ages, often describe exercises and meditations that aim to awaken this latent capacity. They are not forbiddens because they are dangerous in themselves, but because the power they confer, the power to see the truth without veils, is disruptive to structures of control and the illusion of separation. This new perception is the key to unlocking the hidden mysteries that lurk at the intersection of linear time and eternal time. It is the ability to read the morphogenetic field, to sense collective intentions before they solidify, to discern the underlying currents of cosmic energy that shape destiny. Ancient wisdom teaches us that this vision is innate, but has been obscured by the cacophony of the material world and the excessive adherence to the analytical mind. To rekindle it, it requires more than study. It requires a profound inner alchemy, a purification of the channels of reception. This means confronting and dissolving one's own shadows, the limiting beliefs that act as distorting lenses. It is this purified lens that allows true spiritual enlightenment, not only for oneself, but for the collective. By seeing the interconnectedness of everything, the illusion of separation crumbles, and your ability to co-create with cosmic energy amplifies exponentially. The ancient masters, whose teachings are veiled in Forbidden's texts, spoke of the vision of the heart, a way of knowing that transcends the mind and connects directly with the source of all existence. It is not a passive vision, but an active perception that interacts with the field of possibilities. And it is at this point that the next question arises. If you can see what can be, how do you act on that vision? How do you move in the river of reality with this newfound clarity, without disturbing the delicate dance of destiny, but at the same time influencing it consciously and compassionately? The veil thins and perception expands, but with it, the responsibility to weave the future with a new consciousness. That's the real question, isn't it? Vision, however clear, is only the first step, the art of acting on it, of weaving reality. With this new awareness is where inner alchemy manifests in its most sublime form. It's not about imposing one's will, forcing the current of the river of existence, but about becoming the current itself, aligning with the natural flow of cosmic energy. Ancient wisdom has bequeathed us not methods of control, but rather of subtle co-creation, of a harmonious dance. The Forbidden's texts, when read with the correct key, which is the spiritual enlightenment arising from inner alchemy, reveal that every thought, every purified emotion is a vibration. It is this vibration that interacts with cosmic energy, shaping the field of possibilities. Think of it like a tuning fork. When you vibrate in resonance with what you wish to manifest, the universe, which is pure cosmic energy in constant movement and transformation, responds. The hidden mysteries here lie not in complex spells or arcane rituals, but in the profound simplicity of aligned intention, unshakable faith, and the coherence between your inner being and your emanation to the world. This is not an action in the mundane sense of brute effort. It is an action of being. When your inner alchemy has refined your vibrational field, you don't need to do so much. You attract. The Forbidden's texts warn against gross manipulation, against the use of power without proper spiritual enlightenment. as this only creates chaos and imbalance, not only for the world, but for the manipulator themselves. True spiritual enlightenment guides us to compassionate action, a sowing of intentions that respects the interconnected tapestry of existence. Ancient wisdom understood that we are threads in this cosmic tapestry, and by vibrating in harmony, we influence the collective pattern of cosmic energy. Like a gardener who understands the cycle of life, you prepare the soil, your mind, your spirit. Through inner alchemy, plant the seed of intention, your vision purified by spiritual enlightenment, and nourish it with the cosmic energy that permeates everything. The hidden mysteries here reside in patience, unwavering faith, and the ability to allow the divine to weave through you without the urgency of the ego, but with the trust of the soul. It is a delicate dance. Yes, where discernment is its greatest tool, discerning when to act actively on the physical plane and when to allow the universe to respond to your inner vibration, adjusted by inner alchemy. The forbidden texts speak of the great work, not the creation of gold from lead, but the transmutation of ego into consciousness, of separateness into oneness. This is true inner alchemy, the basis of all conscious co-creation, permeated by spiritual enlightenment. Cosmic energy flows freely to those who are aligned, to those who have understood the hidden mysteries of resonance. Ancient wisdom tells us that the universe denies nothing, it merely reflects our frequency. Spiritual enlightenment is the fine-tuning. But if reality is so malleable to our vibration, and if we can influence what may be, how aware are we, really, of the ramifications of each of our emanations? And what or who benefits from this dance? Therefore, the journey is yours, and each emanation shapes your universe. True inner alchemy lies in recognizing that we are the architects of our reality, co-creating at every moment. Spiritual enlightenment is not a distant destination, but the awakening to this innate capacity. If the universe is such a faithful mirror of our vibration, what new reality will you choose to reflect from now on? What seeds of consciousness will you plant? Leave your answer in the comments. Share this video with those seeking this ancient wisdom and subscribe for more profound revelations. And to continue your journey of awakening, watch our video on the law of attraction and the quantum field now.